2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Ha! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
My name is Nikhita Winkler. I am a professional dancer and a creative and social entrepreneur. That means I run business for social causes or that address social issues. And I am a dance studio owner. I am also a lover of food, traditional food being my favorite. I am born and raised in Namibia. I am Sotho, Tswana, German, Bastard, and my family is Bamboo Herero, so I'm a whole Namibian, but I am also raised in the world. So I say that I'm a Namibian. I am born and raised in Namibia, but I'm a world citizen. And I teach children, I teach adults. I mainly work with women. I like to think of myself as the dancing doctor ever since I was a little girl. And what that means is just that I have an interest, and I would like to think that I specialize in movement therapy, and in the sense that my techniques address deeper emotional well-being, deeper issues within people, for them to flower, for them to grow into the best versions of themselves. And that really is the purpose by which I teach. I teach to empower. And so I say that the work that I do is beyond dance.
What happens when contemporary meets traditional? Yeah? What happens when you come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It's a challenge. It's a challenge, but it's fun to play.
Exploring Namibian dance and contemporary dance movement, this to me is who I am. It's taking who I am as a Namibian and taking who I am as a world citizen and bringing those two moons or suns together and becoming relevant, not just as a dancer in Namibia, but becoming relevant as a dancer in the world, representing Namibia in the world, but also not forgetting who I am as a world citizen and my training, because my background is classical dance. I have done ballet since the age of 5 years old, and then I've been in the world until I was not sure how old, but until 2015. And when I came back to Namibia, I then started exploring what it means to be a Namibian dancer. So exploring Namibian and contemporary movement also means exploring Namibian music. It also means going beyond tribalism, taking from all kinds of traditions, cultures, and fusing it into who I am as an artist, because that's what artists do. They create original work that is a representation of who they are, and a reflection of what the world is to them. So that is what exploring Namibian dance and contemporary dance is to me. Contemporary, first of all, to me, means classical dance techniques that have been influenced either by the artist's individual style or by current trends, by modernization. So that's contemporary for me. It draws from classical dance techniques, ballet, modern dance, and even traditional dance, because traditional dance, to my understanding, is also classical.
You can play. Ideally, the second round, what we can do is try to fuse. That means the first one, you can come in with your style, with the same rhythm. Then you go out. The second time you come in, you fuse. So maybe you come in with Oshiwambo, and then you do your style and finish with Oshiwambo, and you go back out.
Contemporary dance and traditional dance are two different things. Traditional is classical, contemporary is modernized, and traditional dance can become contemporized by our current influences of the traditional dance styles. And contemporary just keeps evolving, and I think contemporary is really wide, so it is broad and will continue to broaden because it just keeps getting influenced. If you look at the tree of dance, you actually get African dance at the roots, and then you get jazz dance as kind of coming, growing from the African traditions, and then you get all of these branches that influence hip hop, that influence the jazz, and all these different styles of dance. So even the street styles could be traditional, like Pansula would for me be street style traditional. But it would be contemporarized when there's more of a hip hop influence, for example, then it's not so traditional anymore. Contemporary is also expressive dance. So contemporary really dives deep into the human emotion in that moment, the human connection, the who you are in that moment. Contemporary is that. It goes deep into the feeling, into the moment, into the presence of where you are in that moment. And traditional for me is roots. It's carried by the deep ancient knowledge. It's carried by the ancestry bloodline in the people who dance it. I would love us to start archiving traditional dance holistically by involving the traditional dances and then bringing in the current contemporary dances of Namibian dance to then see how the styles are being evolved, being developed, and what our current practitioners are doing and how they're exploring this material, this knowledge. I think we have started the process. We have the Museum of Music that just opened, and they have invited dancers also to work with them. That is a great start. I think it's also important that this work, this documentation, these archives that they become critical for universities to have them a part of their curriculums, to start decolonizing their curriculums. And another thing is that us practitioners, that we expand to start document ourselves what we are currently busy with, what our process is, how we're creating and recreating the Namibian traditional dance and contemporizing it. I think it's important that we document that in writing so that we can also start creating decolonized curriculums.
Let's go. Okay, are we ready? Okay, let's go. So we go, we went. We'll do the slow one again, and then we'll just speed it up. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ha, 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 ha. Let's go. Ha, 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 ha.
Working with young dancers that have no formalized training is not easy. You have to grow and learn with them. And I am a very strict artist. I'm a very strict dancer, strict on technique. But what I've learned as I have worked with so many bodies and so many people who are new to dance, I've learned that sometimes you are strict, sometimes you are technical, and then other times you need to have fun. So it has broken me open to really experience the love of dance that people have, but also that I have for dance and for teaching. It has taught me who I am as a teacher, who I am as an individual. It has helped me to define the purpose of what I do. When you don't know why you do what you do, it's easy to lose track. But once you know what the purpose is of what you do, then you can always come back onto your path. You can always reassess, reevaluate what have the lessons been in that journey for you. So with both the children that I work with and the adults that I've been working with, I have learned to dive deeper and deeper into my own world, deeper into the world of dance. I have been challenged to also unpack dance, because there is the 3 to 5 year old dancer that already the body has so much wisdom. The child already knows what to do. The wisdom is there. The body is natural. It dances naturally. It dances before it walks. The way that I love to work is to give the creative process back to the student. So my responsibility as a teacher, as a choreographer, is to direct. And I think I'm pretty good at directing. I enjoy watching how my instructions, guidance, and direction is being interpreted and what the child or the adult comes up with. Because I always think that the kids are more creative than what I am. They are so natural. And I enjoy giving them the responsibility to create. And it also really helps them to have ownership of the material when they know that they've created it or that they've played such a big part of it. You know, they can tell the story, and once they know the story and how they've created it, they perform it even better.
Ready, once. There we go, go. And back. Twos. There we go. Ha.
Dance has empowered me as a child, and it was the only thing that I felt a deep connection with, and that I felt I could fly. In fact, dancing, I would say, is the reason I went into the world. Dancing is the reason people saw, they were interested in me, because all I knew was dance. I could just talk about dance all the time and what it gave to me. So I believe that my role is to empower others through dance. What we do when we, as my team and I, in the work that we do, is beyond dance. We teach children how to become leaders. We teach children how to become comfortable with who they are, what they know, with their space around them, within them. We say that it's a dancer's lifestyle. If you are a dancer, you live the lifestyle of a dancer, which means everything you know in the studio applies to your life outside of the studio. How you carry yourself, when we work so much on posture in the studio, it applies outside of the studio. You know a dancer by how they walk and sit and stand. So we empower our children to be vulnerable, because to dance is to be vulnerable. To perform is to be vulnerable. To empower someone means that it really depends on how the teacher teaches. So yes, dance empowers, but not always, because not everybody has a teacher that empowers them. Some teachers break their students down. So the teacher's role here is so important. So apart from just empowering our students, I empower my teachers. I empower my teachers to have a voice, to own the space. When they walk into any space and they need to teach, it's their space. To project. And also with our students, we teach them to project in their bodies, but also in their voice. So when they speak to us in class, we encourage them to speak up, to speak with confidence, the way you stand with confidence, the way you dance with confidence. We empower them to fall, to fall and stand up, because that is dance. We fall, we break, and we get up, and we keep dancing. Dance and movement artists are healers. And we have a big responsibility on us to educate our society that dance is not just about leisure and entertainment. And this is where we are stepping into my specialty. I have, as a dancer, healed myself many times. And without the knowledge that I have as a dancer, I would not be able to do that. The knowledge of my body. So let's start with the first thing you do when you come into this world is you breathe. That's the first movement that you do, is breath. Dance and many other movement practices, like yoga, they teach breath work. Breath work throughout your life is critical. When your breath is not the way it should be, then you are more prone to illnesses, okay? Another thing is the spine. The spine connects your head with your torso, rib cage, with your hips. It is equally important. These two things are two things that dancers learn to, this is foundational. Posture and breathing as you move. So the knowledge that dancers have is deep, it's incredible. It's wisdom that can save them from illnesses, that they can heal themselves. The dancer, I would say, also can move energy. So if the dancer is stressed, they dance to release. They move that energy in their bodies and they release it and they work with it. I think we are movement healers as dancers, and that we have a lot of knowledge that we need to package and for society. We need to educate society about dance as healing, dance as medicine, dance as education, because dance is physics and dance is science. And if you learn a pirouette, if you understand how to balance, it's science, you know? And the thing is, you don't understand it with your mind. You understand it with your whole body. So this is why in our work, in my work, I teach children beyond dance. I teach them about science. I teach them about humanitarian. I teach them how to volunteer, how to take care of each other, social life skills that are so relevant in our everyday life. How to be aware of how you're standing, aware of how you're sitting, aware of your body language, aware of how you're speaking, aware of how you're feeling.
Very important to stretch your body. A dancer has both strength and flexibility and stamina. The dancer doesn't get tired. You get tired, you walk, you don't sit, or you run even more, or you dance it out. Keep going.
For the future of dance in Namibia, I really, really wish and hope that our community can come together, that they can build on something bigger than themselves. I really hope that Namibia at some point can have a company, a national company that can represent Namibian contemporary dance in the world, and that inspires younger dancers to want to be a part of that company. We have to think in levels, all right? So we need role models. I would love in the coming years to see that Namibia has made dance and art education mandatory in schools. But what do we need for that? We need a teacher's training program. We don't have one. Yes, we're busy, but currently we don't have one. So these are the gaps, and I really would like to see that the community comes together to find what are the gaps and how can we maximize on each other's specialties, on each other's skills to cover these gaps so that the industry can move forward. There needs to be standardization for how much choreographers get paid, how much dancers get paid. Because if there's no standardization, I can charge 8,000 for performance and someone else comes and charges 500 for performance and the person who doesn't know would go, but when there's standardization, everybody gets the value of what they're worth. I really hope that in the near future that I see unity and that there are more productions. We need to educate ourselves and our upcoming professionals, and we need to educate the nation on what dance can offer the youth, can offer the nation. There's a lot that dancers can offer. And for me, I became an entrepreneur by being a dancer. So I really would love to see our dancers rise into leaders, that this country will say, wow, these are dancers, but they're also leaders in our society and role models. And look what they've built, wow.
Exhale, just straight back. Don't bend your back. Reach as far as you can. Wherever you can, hold and relax. And breathe.
It is exhausting to be an artist in Namibia. Because we give and we give and we give. And we walk around the town and we don't get inspired by rhythms and drums and energy that just makes us feel alive as artists. Apart from the work that we have to do, I would also love to see how Namibia and city of Windhoek rises to involve artists into bringing back life into the city so that the energy of Namibia is felt when you're in the street just walking. It's missing and it drains the artist because where do we draw inspiration from? From within all the time? It gets exhausting. So I am exhausted, and I think many of our artists are exhausted. And somehow we need to revive the space around us. The policies are there, but the policies need people to implement them. They need us to implement them. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. So something needs to happen. Something needs to happen to bring art everywhere to the city, everywhere, so that art is healing. Art is love, it's healing, it's reflection, it's history, it is many things that we need, yes, to empower the youth, to empower the artists, and to empower our nation.